Howdy, folks.
Oh my God, a frontal view.
I'm not sure how to respond to that.
Oh God, let's see. Just waiting for Eric and Scott, but we're gonna start anyway. We don't want to wait too late because I know it's a Sunday, and it's kind of one of those things. There's only a couple people here, but I know Beaner's in there with his camera off. So thanks, Beaner, for showing up. Um,
Hey Dan. Yeah, I'm at a tournament right now, so I got to cut out in about a half an hour.
oh yeah, that's right. I heard you're at the curling tournament. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. I got about a half hour here before I go back on the ice.
Oh,
So,
okay. I'm
but
sorry
thanks.
if I go muted in and out, you'll hear why. You know.
Hey, Tom, what's that crab nibble you got behind you?
I
That's
think we're
nice looking.
live, guys, so just be careful. I think we're live right now. So let me see. I just want to make sure that we're working here because Eric usually does the Zoom part. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Yep, we're good. All right.
That's about 30 hours of telescope live data.
Nice.
Well, I'll tell you, at least
Thanks.
we're working here because Eric usually does the Zoom part. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Yep, we're good. All right.
That's about 30 hours of telescope live data.
Frontal view.
Nice.
Well, I'll tell you,
I'm not sure.
Okay, so we'll change this to view. Now,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that C8 back into mothballs. I cannot get that thing collimated. So
Wow.
I I've worked on it for a week.
just waiting up for this to catch up. Sorry if I'm muted. I'm sorry.
No worry. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah,
It took me a while to get my me to 8
yep.
collimated.
I don't know if it's a bad corrector plate or if something something screwed up on the main mirror or what, but it's the most frustrating thing in the world. And I said, screw it. I'll just enjoy other people's galaxies. And I'm gonna I'm gonna put my Red Cat 51 back on.
Oh, which, where are you located?
Terre Haute, Indiana.
Oh, that's too far away.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I looked up how much it costs to send it, to Celestron and everything, and the minimum shipping cost is like $360.
Wow.
And then it'd cost anywhere between 200 and 500 for them to do anything to it.
Wow, that's almost a quarter or almost half the price of the C8.
Well, uh, I'm thinking about just saving my pennies and getting one of those Carbon Star 200s.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time it's all said and done, hell, I'd have $1,000 in that thing.
Yeah.
You know, on top of what it costs.
Yeah.
Is there a better way to spend your tax refund?
What tax refund? Yeah.
Well, I would say that if you were just a couple hour drive away, I'd love to try to help you out and try to help you with it. But
Well,
Indiana, that's a pretty big drive.
yeah. Well, I used to, back in 1976, I lived down in Hilton Head, so I
Oh,
was
yeah.
2 hours from you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, guys. I just had to tell the guy that's doing the construction to stop, so I think we're okay. So we've been live the whole time. So again, we're waiting for some people, but I see some people, so we're just going to get started. And I don't know if this is going to take. It'll take however long it takes. But I just wanted to get together with some people and to lay tribute to Simon, and he impacted the show, he impacted the people here, and he impacted a lot of people across the world regarding his love for astronomy and astrophotography. And he was a really good friend of mine. I know Beener's in there. He's a really good friend to Beener. And I'm sure he's been a great friend to all the rest of you guys too. And whether you met him at NEAC or AIC or somewhere at a ZWO function, he was there, and he was a staple there. So I put a little, like I did, kind of like I did for Pete. I put a little something. So I want to say thank you first of all for Tyler Bowman, who sent me a lot of pictures. Literally, like, it's another reason why we're late, because he literally sent me these pictures like 15 minutes ago. So I was putting it together, and I wanted to put some music so I didn't have to yell at myself on there. So but it's only about 2 minutes long, and I didn't have a lot of video. I like to do some video in there with it, just to show what they were thinking of. The only thing I found was something that we did with him back about 4 years ago when he was introducing the AM5. I think maybe the 5, maybe it might have been the 3. I don't remember. No, it was AM5. I don't know. It was one of the AM mounts, and he was doing it on the show. So he had a little funny kind of thing where he kind of almost hurt himself. So I thought I'd throw that in there too. And let's see. I'm gonna switch my audio real quick, and I'm just gonna play the video for 2 minutes, and then we could feel free to talk about Simon and what he's done for everybody here. So give me 1 second. Let me just switch over real quick. I gotta put my glasses on because I can't see anymore because I'm old. So restart, pause, start, and view speaker. And can I make this full screen? It'll probably just be me. Speaker. Play. Let's see. Tell me if you guys could see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to see what it looks like on.
Have purposely had this thing so off balance to see if I could actually stop it, and I could not. I literally the other night I was playing around with it, and I actually went to slew somewhere where I shouldn't have done, and this thing was heading for my tripod leg, and I literally, while I'm on one hand got my hand in the tablet trying to press stop, I literally grabbed hold of the tube, and this thing is dragging my hand around, and I'm like, well, yeah, it won't. So yeah, it's talky. It's got a lot of talk.
Nice.
Nice job, Dan.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, so that's really all I had of a video with him. I had about 2 hours worth of video, but this, it just goes to show. And I don't know if you caught it at the end, but he almost knocked the F bomb twice there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a little story real quick, and I guess I'll just start off with Simon because it's about 2 years ago. I know I said it on Wednesday night. I'll just say the story again if you heard it. If you heard it, you'll hear it again. But if not, so a couple years ago at NEAF, we got together, and he came into the city, and he was there with Beener, I think, the night before, and Eric just came in. I don't think I was there with Beener, but we were there, and we went for lunch, and we went to, I think it was the Rose Center and an observatory and stuff like that, and he's like, "Come on, we're gonna go take a walk." I said, "Walk? Oh my God, I'm too old for walking. I can't do this walking stuff anymore." And he's like, "No, we're gonna go. It's not far." So we start walking. We're walking, and I'm like, after about 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes or so, I was like, "Simon, where are we going?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." And so we walk a little further, and he's like, "Do you know where you are?" I'm like, "No, I don't know where I am. I know the city, but I've walked this street 1,000 times, and we're near Central Park." And he's like, "Yeah, well, turn around." So I turn around, and I look at this building, and I'm like, "Is that?" He's like, "Yep." He's like, that's the building from Ghostbusters where he was fighting Zool on the top, and you see the building and everything, and you can just imagine all the black clouds around it because it looks exactly the same. He's like, he was apparently a big Ghostbusters fan, and I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, I've been in the city 1,000 times, and I knew it was there. I just never went to go see it, and it was kind of cool just to kind of have that kind of fun with him and having a good time and stuff like that. So I mean, he was really, really, really a cool guy, man. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a
That's
good
very
story.
cool.
I have to apologize. I'm always bad with names, and I am 100% sure that was my first trip to NEAF. And I'm still new to this whole astrophotography thing, but when I got there, I was looking at so the ZWO stuff, and they were really crowded. And Dan, that was the first year I met you, and
Yep.
it was so crowded, and everybody was trying to just rush in there and ask and ask and ask. And I had asked him a question about a telescope, and he took the time with me, was so very patient with me, and made sure that I understood exactly what I was looking for and about that APO 130. And he was just an amazing individual to make sure that he took care of everything that I needed, and people were just trying to drag him away. And I really appreciate that, and I didn't know him all that well, but he was an outstanding individual for sure.
Yeah, you could always tell that by his videos that he did, on different shows. I never got the privilege of meeting him. I might have talked to him once on the phone, but just real super guy, and you can just tell, that it's just a shame.
Yeah. Yep. And another reason why we're kind of doing this, and I'm going to keep this going on because I know we have some people all over the world that are kind of that will watch this later. I know it's a Sunday. I don't expect a lot of people to jump in on a Sunday because of all life just gets in the way sometimes. But I do expect a lot of people to kind of jump on, and we are kind of doing this as a fundraiser for his family as well, to kind of get some money for the family, and same kind of thing we did with Ben as well, a mass donation to from the family at AstroWorld, and because he was a big part, so that will be definitely up. The PayPal link will be up for whatever. It's my personal PayPal link, so please use friends and family, and I'll make sure that that the family gets the mass donation. We've already gotten about $300 already for the family. And thank you for everybody who's donated already. And again, if you want your name stapled to the donate, if you want to be incognito, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just make a list of people who donated, not just a much of, not the total amount. If you want to let them know, you can feel free to let them know yourself. But I think that will be a good thing for them. So, and again, AstroWorld telescopes will also be making a donation as well on top of it. So,
I know, I appreciate you taking the lead on that and doing that.
yeah, no, listen, it's the least I could do for somebody who's done so much for the hobby, for the lifestyle, you know, and it was a lifestyle for him, man. That's what he did, and Beaner had to kick off. He's at a curling event, so I get that. He's got to do what he got to do, and I'm sure he's having a rough time as it is, because those guys were super tight, and it's the least I could do. Same thing for Ben. Same thing for Pete. Unfortunately, with Pete, we didn't have any family to contact or anything like that. We had nothing because he really didn't have. He had some kids, but didn't have any kind of contact to get in touch with anybody. So we couldn't really kind of do anything for his family. But that's something that we're gonna do, and there'll be something nice at NEAF for Simon and the rest also as well.
Good.
Hey guys, how are you all doing?
Hi, Eric.
Hey,
What's going on, man?
I still can't get over it.
Yep.
I really can't. Here I'm just gonna share something real quick. Let me do this and share screen. I mean, this was my second NEAF, I think, or first NEAF.
Right
And
outside the S&T event.
yeah. And there's Beaner and Tyler and Simon and myself. And, Simon was just a great soul, truly. I mean, so open and willing to help others, because this hobby can be confusing, and he was able to make it very approachable. He was very approachable, and he made it very user friendly for people who are having issues. And also me and him, also have in common our military service.
Yep.
We were both in the Navy, him in New Zealand, myself here in the States. He was a submariner, I was on carriers, but we talked about, our time in the military, and in the Navy in particular, and in this, in our ports of call, and just talking. And we even talked off, between ourselves every once in a while, talking about our mounts, because we both have CEM 60s and stuff like that, and just sharing information amongst one another, and him probably sharing more information with me than vice versa, because he was just so damn smart about all of this stuff. And I am, we lost a friend. We really did. We lost a friend. And for those who didn't have the pleasure of meeting him, he was really something special. He is really, and it's just so heartbreaking when you hear of things like this happening to people, to good people, you know, like Ben and Pete and now Simon. And you just don't, you can't wrap your head around it sometimes. Like, why do these things happen to the good people? And then sometimes I have to go back and say, and think about it and say, because the Lord needs these people. The Lord needs these people with him for his reasons. And I'm not going to question his reasoning on why he wanted to bring Simon home now. But I hope, you know, that he is finding peace being even closer to the stars than where he was here on land, on the earth. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. We can't explain it, you know, we just have to learn to accept and move forward. But I will never forget him. I mean, I really won't. And it just sucks, man. It just sucks. But yeah.
Yep, it does, man. I mean, that was beautiful, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Too many people go too soon, man. It sucks. It's horrible.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, it does. But all I can think of and say is, you know, think about how he was and think about, you know, the type of person you are and who you want to be, and think about your, you know, your soul and your future and stuff like that. And I don't want to get overly religious or stuff like that, but I know he's in heaven. I know it. I know, you know, St. Peter welcomed him with open arms because he is just that type of soul. That's that type of person that I think the Lord would welcome absolutely with open arms.
yep.
So who all isn't, you know, struggling in their life and things like that, think about where you want to be next, because this life is finite, and just do the best you can and do right by people. And Simon was one of those people that he did right by others. And yeah, I'm just going to miss him a lot.
Yep. I remember when I was working in Camera Concepts, and we would just be having conversations on the phone. It would be like 10 o'clock at night in New York, and it's in the middle of the afternoon in New Zealand. I'm like getting ready to go to bed. You know, I'm like Simon, you know, because Simon could talk a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, he could.
So once he gets on a tear, you know, he'll keep going.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, what was that? What was that Eddie Murphy said about Stevie Wonder? Man, you got to cut him off. You'd be like, yeah, and like the thing, no, Stevie, get off the stage. But you know, I mean, but he had so much. The reason why he spoke so much is because the amount of experience that he had. You know, there wasn't enough time to put into words how much he knew. He probably forgot less. You know, he probably forgot more than he knew because he learned so much so fast.
Yeah.
And he was a tech guy, right? You know, he was on a nuclear submarine, if I remember right.
Yeah, he was.
And you know, he was a tech manual dude, man. He was like Scotty on the Enterprise. He just buried himself in these manuals, and that's what he did for fun. And he was a tinkerer like most of us. I'm not the tinkerer of the group. I think probably Eric's more of a tinkerer than I am. I'm more of a I'll pay the guy to go fix it before. Because I know my limitations, right? But you know what? But he wasn't. He would like literally lose sleep over like finding an answer to something if he could help somebody out.
Yeah.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? That's exactly the way kind of guy he was.
Absolutely. And that was who he was, man. He was also that, he was that type that if there was a problem, because when I had on and off conversations with him, he was like me. He would not let a machine beat him.
No. No.
He refused to let a machine beat him. He would just dive right in and just it didn't care he didn't care how long it took him. He was going to figure this out. And he was going to, you know, go back and tell the other people, hey, this is what I found. This is what you need to fix, and this, that, and the other. And then he'd go back and he'd tell other people, you know, and share that. And yeah, he was definitely a tinkerer, you know. He was definitely that type of guy who just refused to let any machine just beat him.
100%. He's like, we're smarter than this.
Exactly.
He's like, what is this, V'ger?
Uh-huh.
You know. But just so everybody knows, we just hit $500 in donations for Simon and Simon's family. So thank you for everybody who's donated. Please, if you're so inclined to, you know, help the family of Simon Lewis, please use the email as PayPal friends and family that I have on the screen, and get it there, and just send it. And I promise you, you know, if anyone knows me, my integrity is through the roof. I hope so. They will get every single nickel, if not more. So you know, that's just what we do, and that's what we've done. That's what we've done from the beginning. We've always been a group that, you know, helps and gives back, right? And I'm sorry if I forget the name. It's on the website, but I remember we had a member, an early member of the group whose kid passed away. And we did a thing for the kid. We didn't have a fundraiser because we weren't that savvy yet. But you know, we did a little memorial for his child, and did a little thing for them, and he gave us some pictures and that kind of stuff. Same thing that we do with you know, Reach for the Stars. You know, we did that whole thing a couple times. And we like to give back, and also when the families of our members are in need, I think it's important that we all come together, and monetarily or not, it doesn't matter, money or not, just show up and have a story and talk, and you know, and whatever, and what, you know, it's just a good thing to do, considering everything that the people that have moved on have given us.
Yeah.
John Copperthorne said, you know, he didn't realize who it was until he searched on YouTube and found AstroWorks again, and said it was very sad that Simon has moved on. I know I said this is going to be a 2 to 4 thing, but you know, I don't know. You know, again, you know, depending on how many more people pop on, I mean, we could hang out for another half hour and, you know, talk about it and whatever. You know, I know when I go to wakes, I go at the end, so I don't have to stay. You know, so you know, show up late and then leave when everybody else leaves. You know, you know, but you know, I see that Wilfredo's got the ASIR in the background, where the AstroWorld calendar used to be in tribute to Simon, so that's nice to see. You know, so it's really you know, I'm wondering how many replays we get over the course of the thing, and just see, you know, again, this fundraiser is going to go on until next Friday night, so we'll be doing it on the show twice as well, just to see what we could get as far as any sort of donation. Hopefully by NEEF we could get them a check. I don't know how long I don't know if she's got PayPal or not, but I know Beaner will let me know. And so Beaner, I know you'll listen to this later when you're done curling, but just let me know if Chrissy has a PayPal or anything like that I could send to her friends and family. It'd probably be a lot easier. I believe that's Steve looking up. Guys working on sending a donation. It's not easy from Canada, working on it. You can send it in CAD, and it'll do the conversion to. We might have to pay a 3%, whatever. But you know, I send stuff to Sean Nielsen all the time for Starfront, and it's a little bit of a pain, I know, but don't worry, AstroWorld will pick up the 3% fee if there is any, and we'll send that to them as well. I'll see the actual donation. I'll just round it up to the nearest, whatever, $10, you know, to cover the fee. Yeah, so it's definitely a heartbreaking thing. I know I'm probably bambling, but you know what? It's one of those things that it's worse when it's unexpected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's, I mean, I hate to say it this way, but it's kind of true. That if somebody has a lingering kind of thing, it's sometimes even a relief. And we hate to say it that way, but sometimes it is.
Yeah.
But when it's something like, a Pete or a Simon thing, where they're healthy and whatever, and everything is fine,
Mhm.
it's just you're like, holy crap! It just blows your mind. It's just
Mhm.
How old was he?
I don't
50.
remember. I want to say it was in his late 50s, maybe.
Yeah, I want to say he was 58 or
I
59.
was going to say he didn't look very old.
No,
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 he was
he
like
was
58 or 59.
yeah. I don't know how old the rest of you are. I know how old me and Eric are. So he was about our age.
Yeah.
So I'm 55 and Eric's like 67. So
Shut up.
Yeah.
But you know what? And for
I wish
67,
I
I
looked
look
like Eric does.
damn good.
you look awesome.
AstroWorld Medicare questions
There you
later.
go. There you go.
There you go.
Astrophotography. That's it. You
We
know,
got that.
it's like an
We got
elixir.
that cool liquid from Fallout keeping you alive.
There you go. There you go. Right on. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is definitely harder when it is when it is sudden. It really is.
Yeah.
But whatever was ailing him, whether he knew it or not, whatever he was dealing with, the Lord knew, and the Lord said, you don't
I
have to
mean,
deal with this.
I don't have any inside information. Maybe Beaner on the side, if you could even just let me know, or I'm just curious to see what happened. You know what I mean? Because I don't even know if he knew.
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know.
I'm sure if he was that ill, I mean, I could be jumping the gun here or speaking out of turn a little bit, but if he was that ill, I can see him going somewhere and leaving Chrissy home. I can't if he was that ill.
Right. Yeah, because when Tyler and I were talking, we were just speculating. So of course we
Yeah.
don't know either, but we were speculating. It could have been just a sudden, unexpected heart attack.
Yeah,
because those things can happen.
Yeah.
Because those things can happen. Those types of heart
Aneurysm.
attacks,
Yeah.
aneurysm.
Yep.
Things like that.
The thing that we happen to be going through one of those phases right now where it seems like a lot of people are passing away, and it just reinforces, at least for Carrie Ann and I, the fact that don't put off planning to enjoy your life, right? Don't get so caught up in I got to do this job, I got to go to work tomorrow, whatever it may be.
Yes.
And for me, the lesson's always been don't let the last words be with someone that they remember you by be something you don't want them to remember you by. Tell your loved ones you love them.
Yes.
Whether that's the manly thing to do or not, tell them. Call your mom every week. Tell your kids you love them, even though they're adults and know better and know that you do anything for them. Make sure that everyone you meet is left in a place better.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely, Ross.
Well said.
Yep.
I don't know anything about his kids.
I just know what I see on YouTube. Sorry, Facebook. Again, I know he speaks about them in Neath when we caught up and when he speaks about it on the phone, but I don't know.
That's okay.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, maybe Beaner can jump in on the chat later on and kind of throw something in there or whatever. Maybe we could do something else on the show on Wednesday or Friday. Beaner, if you want to come on Wednesday or Friday night and you're home, let me know. And you can come on and chat with us.
Dan, have you been able to connect with TJ at all?
I texted him today.
Okay.
He hasn't answered.
Okay.
Let me see if he answered at all.
Understandable, you know.
Yeah, no. I just told him. I said, hey, I said, I'm sorry, just getting to you now. We're doing a little thing for Simon at 2 today, and a little fundraiser for our family. Here's the link. I didn't have his phone number. I would have called him, but
right.
But
yeah, because I know they were very tight as well.
I know. They were super tight.
Yeah.
I could just imagine, between, I'm surprised Bina was as, me, my voice just kind of, when things like this happen. And, it's like, I'm surprised Bina was able to even speak, to be honest with you, because.
Yeah, they were all very, working with ZWO, and even before then, just connecting with one another and being beta testers for the air and all of that, before they actually got brought on as part of their support, their support team and stuff like that. Those three, I mean, even Tyler, those, they were really tight, those four, So yeah, because there was some stuff that he even did with Explore Scientific, So, and that's how he and Tyler, because with AstroWorks and all that stuff, and so yeah.
Hey, John.
Those three. Hey, even try to figure out how to get my camera on.
It's if you all scroll down to the bottom, it should say camera on the left side.
No, hold on.
And you're a little sideways. How'd that happen? There you go.
Hello, John.
Hello, what's going on?
Gone. Oh, you finally got a face to the name.
I've been on here once before. I had a Friday night off.
All right. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Just got up. It's just me and the dog this week. The girl's out of town. Girlfriend's in Florida. So got home Friday. I saw the show. I was like, oh, it's a short show. Watched it. And then I realized who we were talking about.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him much in the past year, but he'd pop up like I'd see him, people interviewing him at astronomy shows.
Yep.
I guess he became a ZWO ambassador.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, but the context clues that you gave me, ZWO and New Zealand, I went back and looked it up and found out he was the guy on AstroWorld. So I liked his videos.
No, yeah, he had some great videos, and he definitely he had a way about him that he could kind of say the most obscure kind of thing in a way where the newest newbie would understand what you're talking about. And he just had a way about him, and it wasn't like there are some people out there that don't talk to you, they talk down, and when they're trying to explain something that you should know, and he was never like that. And he was very good at how he did it.
Coming from a salesman, he was really a salesman. You wanted to buy that.
Yep.
You watched that video.
Yep. You did.
Yep.
And one thing, Steve said one thing about YouTube is Simon will live on in YouTube with all of his videos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless if they change the algorithm and they take us all down. I see Scott joined in with his ZZ Top kind of thing.
With the bat wagon.
Yeah.
Just wait for the accent.
Yeah. Oh man, so weird, right? What the hell happened there?
Yeah. I told my wife.
Southern Scottish.
Yeah. I said, "There's something going on here. What? Did he go to Louisiana for the week?" And then he said something, and I was like, "I knew it."
I have no idea where this came from, because he is from like snowbound New York, all the way upstate, And he came in talking like, I swear, it's like I said on the show the other night, it's like the bad William Costner Southern accent. When he was from JFK. Like it was so bad.
Well, when I lived down in Hilton Head on my third hiatus from college, I lived down there for a year and a half, and it took me 3 years to get rid of the southern drawl.
Oh yeah. my wife's from Texas.
Yeah.
And she lived there for many years. And every once in a while, it's usually when she's pissed at me, that the southern drawl just starts coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm in trouble. I'm just gonna go downstairs in my studio.
Wow.
Hey, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Hey. Well, speaking of traveling, Eric, I'll be down in your neck of the woods for the next couple of days.
Oh yeah? Oh
Yeah.
yeah? Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know next, what is it, in 2 weeks, I'll be heading towards your neck of the woods. Actually, I'm going to be heading to Hilton Head.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So,
We might be going there after Neef.
okay. Okay.
So that's it, because that's well, not my old stomping ground, but I lived very near there for 2 years.
Yeah, because you live near Savannah.
Yeah, I was in northern. I think it was a northern suburb of Savannah called Pula.
Okay.
It's right by Port. Port. Start with a W. Port Worthington or Port. It's where that big sugar factory blew up about 10 years ago.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Fort Wentworth, I think is
Wentworth.
Yep.
I knew it was a W.
Yep.
Wentworth.
Yep.
And I was there for a while, and that's where we went a lot. We went a lot to Hilton Head and hung out over there, because you were really right by the border, so you just jumped. That was it.
Yeah. This will be I've been to South Carolina quite a few times, but mostly I was always in Columbia for when, Josh was a baby, because he was born in Columbia. He was born in Columbia and grew up, and was raised. His first year was living in Irmo. But yeah, I mean, this will be my first time going to Hilton Head, so I'm kind of looking forward to it, even though it's for a couple of days.
You'll like it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
We're gonna do a day. We're gonna pretty much do a day on the beach, day on Hilton Head, walking around, doing it. We're gonna be doing touristy stuff, and then we'll go to Savannah the other day, for another day. And
so if you go to Hilton Head, right on Hilton Head, there's a wonderful. Once you go over the bridge, there's a wonderful golf course there.
Robin really was like, "Are you gonna go play golf?" I was like, "With my background, I don't want to for a little while longer."
It's a beautiful course.
I know, because she was like,
Town.
"Yeah." She was like,
Which one, Dan?
What's that?
Which one?
I gotta remember the name. I know exactly where it is. I just don't remember the name. So once you go over the bridge, from
Palmetto Dunes.
What's that? Palmetto
Dunes.
Palmetto.
Now they had just opened the Hyatt there when we lived down there. Yeah. I had 3 roommates that worked at the Hyatt, and I managed the Pizza Hut down there on the Circle 5 Sea Pines.
Nice.
There's also another one if you're going to be in Savannah, in Pooler, right across I-80 in Pooler. There's another nice golf course right there. That's can't be over 15. Let's see, it's in 2007. It's got to be only like 15, 16 years old. It's a wonderful course.
I remember Savannah was the first place I ever saw a roundabout.
Really?
Yeah.
First time I ever saw a roundabout. Actually, that's not true. We have them over here at Jones Beach. There's roundabouts all over the place.
Yeah.
But the first time I saw what they call a loop, it was when I was driving in Oslo. Believe it or not. And it was just weird. It was like this big round, like a racetrack, just with exits.
Yeah. Did they have Mrs. Wilkes boarding house down there when you were there?
I don't remember that one.
Oh, that was a great place to eat.
I don't know. There was some. You know what? there's so many places down there that are nice.
I always think about Savannah when on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, me too. Best St. Patty's Day ever.
Biggest day of the year down there.
Yeah, especially when it's 70-something degrees in the middle of March.
Yep.
And they I don't know if they still do it, but when I was down there, they dyed
the River Green. Yep.
And you just walk up and down. You walk up and down River Street on the cobblestone streets.
Yep.
And you walk up and down. Hopefully, you make it back the other way and remember it. You know?
There's a couple times I don't remember driving back to Hilton Head.
But yeah, so I mean, again, I don't know if Steve, I don't know if you have any any Simon stories or anything. I know you just popped on, but I see Scott still kind of, I guess, hanging out. I don't know. Guess he just wants to show his chaps today.
Yeah.
Can't find his pipe.
What was that?
Can't find his pipe.
Yeah.
He's looking for his accent.
Yeah.
I'm going to put on the Godfather accent today.
Poor Scott, he's not even here and we're picking on him.
I know. I wish I could do a virtual cheese slice and just throw it on there.
How's everybody's weather been? Guys, we're
Great.
like 80 degrees right now, and it was in the 20s on St. Patrick's Day. So we went from the 20s to like the 70s, and now we've got a little string of like 80 degrees here.
Yep, it's 80 here.
Yeah, I'm in St. Louis.
Yeah, it's 83 and very yellow all over the place.
Yes.
Very yellow.
It's 30 degrees, and we've had 18 feet of snow.
Oh, Steve.
God.
Bless you.
Okay, really.
No, right now on Long Island, it's cold and rainy. Not much going on here, but it's we had a couple of days that it reached in the high 50s, low 60s,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it. Now it's back to like the 30s, 40s.
Wow.
Yeah, I finally was able to get the Edge back out yesterday. Didn't do really any imaging. It was more diagnostic and testing and getting things collimated and stuff like that, using the tri-bat mask and getting things tweaked up. So it's pretty well. I'm happy. It looks like it's pretty well collimated based off of the tri-bat. I still want to use MetaGuide at some point, but right now it's looking good. My only problem is right now is the OAG. I mean, trying to dial that in, it's always been a pain. But I did order some parfocal rings, some 1 1/4 parfocal rings that I'll use to so once I do get it dialed in, I'll be able to set the parfocal ring so I don't have to worry about it anymore. At least keep it, say, oh, this is where the focus is and stuff like that. There he is. What's up, man? Hey, Tyler.
Hi, Tyler.
What's going on, Ty?
What are you using for an OAG, Eric?
The OAGL, the ZWO OAGL. So I've got it directly mounted to the 2600.
Yep.
Actually, it's mounted directly to the EFW, and EFW is on the.
Have you done the math before? What I've done is done all the math, then use the calipers to measure from, all those things, put it into a spreadsheet. I can pull it off, throw it onto just about any telescope and set it based on what the measurements are telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And all I have to do is just barely tweak that fine focus.
Okay.
And it's once I took the time to do that math and create the spreadsheet, that it was world of difference.
Okay.
Because
it's basically it's usually supposed to be 55 millimeter back focus, just like
it's got
train.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's got to do with the distance from your sensor on your camera to the center of the prism on your OAG. And then from the center of that prism on your OAG to the sensor on your guiding camera.
Correct.
and they have to be the same.
Exact.
Those are the distances, and those are the things that you measure. So it's real easy to measure from the sensor to the center of the prism. I mean, it's roughly half the thickness of your OAG.
Yeah.
Then from the tricky part is taking the calipers and then measuring what the height is from the center of the prism to, I use the top rim of the OAGs because that's where I can see it when I insert the camera. So once I know that distance, and I know the distance, do the math of where the sensor is. It's just a matter of going in and say, okay, we raise this one up on this rig 4.6 millimeters. And then, like I said, then it's just a matter of a little bit of fine focus, and it probably takes me less time to focus that than it does to focus the telescope by doing it that way. It takes a bit of time and some patience, but I threw it all into a spreadsheet. I use the same one across, what is it, 4 or 5 different telescopes and 4 or 5 different cameras. And by doing it that way, I don't have to remember it. I just go in and plug the number in.
Okay.
So just so you know, right now we just surpassed $600 in donations for Simon and Simon's family. So I did put it in the link. So I did put the link in the chat. Some people were Jackie, I think you were asking, but yeah, absolutely. So and then again, this fundraiser is going to go on until next Friday night. So probably till the end of the month. So let's see what we can get. Help out the fam.
Yeah.
I'll probably reach out to you, Dan, and see if we can't get some money sent to you like we did with Ben.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't have PayPal, so if we can work that out.
Yep. No problem.
Nice. Now, Steve, when it comes to your OAG, when you were focusing and doing everything and all your testing, were you doing it during the daytime or was it at night?
Well, you can only focus at night. But what I did was I have multiple sets of vernier calipers, etc. And I just sat down and started measuring where everything came out to.
Okay.
And like I said, you just take a vernier caliper and you can go, okay, this is how deep the cup is. And then I measured it because of the thickness of the cup, right? So you can, there's a lot of gazintas in that. So you got to measure the cup, measure from that point to where the center, and you don't have to be within, a millimeter is close enough because you can dial an easy millimeter on your fine focus. Now, the one thing you do is before you start is you set that, I take it you have the helical focuser on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you set that so that it's exactly half the height that of its travel.
Okay.
Most of them are about 5 mil.
Okay.
So you set that at the half point, then you take all your measurements. So that way, when you're doing your focus, if you got to go 1.5 mil either way, you don't run out. Because if you do it with it at the bottom, you got to go that way. You got nowhere to go.
Right.
And like I said, I think maybe measuring it because I've got a bad memory at my age. So it's like, measure it once, write it down, then have a cup of coffee, go back and go, is that right? Measure it again. So,
right.
So, I checked it a couple of times, probably 3, and just kept doing those measurements and then sat down and created, a spreadsheet, simple math, plus and minus. But it's, you got to make those sensors the same distance from that prism. And when you're also looking at your back focus, you got to watch that you have some cameras to get the right focus depending on the thickness. You sometimes got to add a little extra spacer in there to get the optimum movement of that OAG from the main sensor.
Gotcha.
But in your case, because it's bolted to the filter wheel and everything, that's my 2600
Yep.
is that way. So it's not an issue.
Yep. That's what I'm using. Yep.
Yeah. On my color cameras, it's a different thing because those rotate around through various things, and then, well, the other mono, you can't bolt it to it. But like I've long ago, it was trying to remember all this stuff, so I've sat down and created spreadsheets that actually add it all up. So I'm going to use this telescope tonight. I plug in this camera, and okay, it tells me exactly what my spacing is. I've measured all the spacings on focusers, rotators, all of that. So I can do the push your dummy syndrome. Because when it comes time for doing that, for me, I'm just excited we're going to have a clear night. Like tonight was going to be that night. That's why I was sitting here in the office. It's like, oh, okay, what are we going to do? And then I looked at the new forecast and went, oh yeah, here we go. Another night of clouds.
As soon as you're all set up, it goes away. So the clouds come in.
Yeah. So
Tyler, you get your mic fixed yet or no? Nope, not yet. You got to hit the unmute button. It's the one that looks like a little microphone on the left side.
It's been a minute since I've done one of these things.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. We hear you.
I heard the curse words. That's all I heard. So,
how's everybody doing?
Good. How are you? How's things?
As well as we expected, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of a crappy day. I mean, it's been a crappy week. Not gonna lie. I just got done mowing the yard. Had to teach my youngest one how to mow, which wasn't too bad of a deal. I'm finally getting headway. The oldest one doesn't want to do anything, but the youngest one's a little bit more gung ho about it. But I know we're all here together and talk about Simon, which sorry I'm late to the party. I'm usually always fashionably late. Just ask Dan and Eric. We started AstroWorks. Golly, how long has it been? 4 or 5 years ago?
About 5, yeah. I gave you an earful when I saw. Really, you had to do AstroWorld.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Exactly.
I did AstroWorld a year ago. Now you got to do AstroWorks, really?
See, we put the Z in there for New Zealand. We felt bad.
There you go. Perfect.
If anybody ever has met Simon, got the chance to talk to Simon, I called him my little hobbit because if there's any pictures of me and him on there, which I know there are on the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, I was just showing one.
Foot taller than Simon. Granted, I'm only 6'2", so I'm not. And he was my little hobbit. He hated it when I called him that, actually. Because it reminded him. Because I'm prior service just like he was, and we always like to poke fun. He got to be in a tuna can. I got to be out in the open air. But he said that I wouldn't survive long enough in that tuna can, which he was right. There's no way you could get me inside a submarine. Nope. There's no way. And all the guys gave him crap about his feet because he had little hobbit feet. So he hated it that I constantly called him my little hobbit. But it was more of a term of endearment for him because that's how special he was to me. He always took the time to either explain something that I was either confused on, or if he had questions that he was trying to get answers to. Simon was one that not to just give up and move on to the next thing. That's why he succeeded so well with ZWO. He did so much for just in that community. That's going to be a hard hole, a very hard hole, and a size shoes to fill. I don't know. He was so excited about going to NEAC this year. He always is. He loves going to New York. I know people love and hate New York, but that dude, he loved coming to the U.S., visiting all his astronomy friends, that he's built a relationship with. I know he's talked a lot about Dan, Eric, and a bunch of other guys that aren't on here, because that's what he loved. He loved the astronomy community. He was part of the Canterbury Astronomical Society, which is in, I know it's in New Zealand. I think it's outside of Christchurch where he was from.
It is.
He was the president of that group. So when I worked at Explore Scientific, he would always ask me every year, "Hey, you going to donate to our?" I can't. It's the native tongue that they call Pleiades. I cannot think of the name off the top of my head. But they always did an event for kids on that day or on that week, actually. And while I was at Explorer, I would always donate just a bunch of STEM products for the kids, some couple door prizes that, people could win. But it's going to be sad this year because I won't get to hear from him again. I won't get to hear about all the problems and the technical difficulties that he's doing for testing equipment, the hair pulling excitement that he gets from helping people.
That explains why he didn't have much hair.
Yes. Yes. And he always kept it short, and he always complained that he kept pulling it out. It's like, you ain't got nothing to pull out if you keep it this short. Again, Simon was the go-to guy. He could answer any technical question that you could give him, and he would know the answer and right off the bat. And anything about the ZWO stuff, it's like he made it himself. Honestly, that's how much dedication that man put towards that company. And I've talked to his wife. His wife's doing about as good as you can do for losing your spouse. They only got married a couple of years ago. They haven't been married that long, not in the grand scheme of things. But he talked about her religiously.
Yep.
That man worshiped that woman, which praise her for marrying such a wee man. Christina, if you've ever listened to Simon talk about Christina, she loved horses. It's all she cared about was those horses. She always did horsing competitions, and we got to spend times on the phone where Christina was out on a horse competition, but he had a bunch of stuff to do, around the house that Christina asked him to do, and that's going to be a hole for her to fill. And I don't know how she's going to do it, but I know she's a strong woman and she'll do it really well. She'll just probably preoccupy her time with those horses. She may get a couple more. Who knows? Honestly. But the thing that I love the most about Simon is his candor. Again, his willingness to help anybody. Doesn't matter how old you are, if you're beginning into the hobby or if you're just, you're stumped and you don't know how to fix the problem. Simon would help you in any way, shape, or form. And that's why he created AstroWorks with a Z, Dan. In fact, that's why we both created it. I mainly sat in the background and didn't want to do anything with it. I did a couple videos, but work got too much. I got too involved with work, trying to, help Explore become a little better than where they're at. And then they moved me into a different department, and I've solely concentrated my time with travel and all that stuff. And I didn't get a chance to do any of the videos anymore. So, I've got to pick up the slack now, which, it'll be good for me because it gets me back into the community because I have not taken any images. I hate to say it in years, because I've been so busy. Now I get the chance and the opportunity to, because the new job that I have, I get more time off. More time to spend with my family. I don't get to travel as much, but it's just a lot of slack to pick up that little guy left, and that's not going to be the easy part for me. Yeah. Because he was, again, so much vast of knowledge, and I've got to figure out how to do it. And that's what's great about this community is we're such a small community in the world of things, but we're tight knit. We're like our own band of brothers and sisters, because there are females in the community, and some are a lot smarter than me, which doesn't take much anymore.
Wait, some?
I was going to say some.
Some. All right, there's a lot. There's a ton. There's a ton. There is quite a few females in this industry, which we need. We need them to keep us humble.
Yeah, you're right.
But I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just going to be another day by day. I lost a brother. I lost a great friend, and I lost a good mentor, just like all of you have. But it's just, I'm taking it a lot harder. Some of you guys on here that know me well enough know why. Mm-hmm. It's going to be tough. But unfortunately, as Simon would say, suck it up, buttercup.
Yeah. You know what? That's the. I should have asked you.
Yes.
I was trying to think of a quote for him for the slideshow, and I'm gonna have to change it now to that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna change that because he said that all the time, all the time.
I was also his walking Neanderthal. That's all. That's another thing. That he always.
Hobbit always needs a Neanderthal.
They do. They do. Every small person does need a Neanderthal. But again, if you've never had a chance to know Simon, it's okay. He's always going to be here. He's got his videos still on AstroWorks. That way you get to know him a little better. But the ones that got to actually talk to him, drink a beer with him, drink tea, because God knows he loves his tea.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably having tea right now, just watching over us and stuff. The man loved tea and coffee. It's all he ever drank.
Yep.
Like, and messing with Christina's horses. One funny thing about Simon is he built an observatory at his property. He put two piers out there, and when I was working with Explorer, I needed a piece of equipment tested. And I know that he had better sky conditions than I did, and of course he gets to see a lot more prettier things than we do in the north, as far as the large Magellanic Cloud and the small, and all the stuff that we could dream of just going to look at. Simon lived in a Bortle 2 zone, which he could step outside and see those things, which is all dropping to me, but when I sent him the equipment for him to test, he calls me. He says, "Tyler, I did a dumb thing." It's like, "Simon, I'm the only one allowed to do dumb things. I forget to turn on power of certain equipment. It's like, I can't see it. It's not connecting. It's not this. And did you turn on power?" That's, just that quick wit that he always had. But he calls me and he forgets that he keeps a door fob or a key fob in his pocket. Now, he put his dome or his roll-off observatory automated. And every time you'd hit a button, the roof would roll. But he would always have to go out there preemptively to slew the mouse to make them home. So they'd lay over. So he does that, comes back inside, calls me and says, "Tyler, I hit the button." I'm like, "What button?" He's like, "I closed the observatory." Simon has cameras all around his observatory in there that he can just remote into it with his phone to make sure everything's going okay. Just in case an animal gets in there or some sort. And he sends me the video. He doesn't watch it because he can't, because he knows what happened. So the telescopes are pointed up like they're fixing to start imaging. The door's open. And all you can see is a black shadow just slowly approaching from the back end.
Oh, no.
All you can see it.
Oh, man.
And here goes one telescope. Smacks the dew shield, lays it over. The telescope that hit it, the first one, well, I think, if I remember correctly, it was his Skywatcher. It tore the gearing in his mount, which he had 2 CM60s at the time, completely destroyed the RA, destroyed the deck, destroyed the motors, the mesh, all of it. And then it goes to the Explorer Scientific telescope that I sent him. He had a FCD 100 carbon fiber, because that's the one he always loved and dreamed of. And here comes that big black shadow of a door. And it hits that carbon fiber dew shield, and it just bounces. It's like it didn't want to give up. And I said, "Simon, can you back it up a little more? I got to look at it again." He's like, "I can't do it." It's like, "No, but I want you to back it up. I want to see it." It's like, "I can't do it." It's like, "Just send it to me and I'll do it. And I'll just keep making fun of you because I'll just keep I watched that video at least 10, 15 times, and it just, thunk, one lays over, it hits it again. And I made a joke, made a meme out of it. And, I keep sending it to him just to remind him, "Where's your button? Where's your button?" He never lived it down. Every time I saw him, it's like, "Do you remember your escapade with your button?" and he immediately just sinks. He goes white. He's like, "Oh, I can't believe I did that." It's like, no, but it's funny as hell to remember it, though, isn't it? It's like, no, it cost me a lot of money. It's like, it didn't cost me nothing but laughter and less years. So again,
oh man,
I wish he would come in, and in a couple weeks we'd see him at Nefaniak, because that dude would light up a room, even in the gloomiest of times.
Yep.
Because he was that way. That's what Simon was. But I'm gonna miss the little bugger. I'll miss her hugs, snuggling within my bosom, because that's how tall he was. He wasn't very tall.
yeah.
All the guys at ZWO. I know I've talked a little bit about with Beaner. Beaner's, he's beside himself.
Yeah, he was on in the beginning of the show for about 20 minutes before he had to jump on the curling line.
Yeah, he's out doing right now curling. It's like, so you go to the British Isles and get the stones? He's like, no, I'm not that competitive. But he has curled with Olympians before. Yep. He said he has curled with Olympians. But I don't. Again, big hole, big hole that we all have to try to fill some way, shape, or form, and just remember the little guy. Yep. And that's what I'm going to try to do every day by continuing AstroWorks, doing the YouTube, being more a part of the community like I used to be way back in the day. Now that I have time to. And I've sold all my camera stuff and I've got to buy it all back.
You know what we call that, right?
Welcome to my world.
We call that the Watson syndrome. That's what we call it.
Welcome to my world.
So every time he tells me he's going to sell something, I said, don't do it.
Oh, man.
Don't do it, man.
On C8 edge, it doesn't work.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, I still got a bunch of lamp stuff. I just got to get another DSLR and a camera. It's like,
well, Tyler, hey, listen, if we could help you out with AstroWorks or whatever, either way, just let us know. We'll definitely, I'm sure every single one of us here on the chat and everybody else on Astro will definitely help you out with whatever you might need. So
no, Dan, I know we've talked a little bit about this, and it speaks volumes of your character and the community that you have built. Yes, we took your name too, but we put a Z at the end of it. It is what it is.
That's okay. Other people have done worse.
They're exactly true. They have done exactly true. They have done worse. But it's your dedication that is willing to push forward and do what you're doing today, which I know there's an Islanders game in about an hour, roughly.
3 hours.
3 hours. Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. It's, if I'm not asking people for anything, just remembering, pray for him. If you're not much of a praying person, just think about him, think about his wife, just put her in your thoughts, put him in your thoughts. Again, I'm wanting to set up to do the donation aspect just to help Christine. Yep. That's what it's about. It's about her, and to make sure that she's taken care of, since he's gone. And I felt like it was an obligation to her. Like I could feel him tell me to do it, because I want to make sure that she's okay during all this, because talked to her the other day and she's a wreck.
I can imagine.
I can imagine. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine.
We were just talking about and saying, it's one thing where it's, kind of like a lingering disease or something like that. But when it's something so unexpected.
It was extremely unexpected. Still not sure what it possibly was. And as soon as I find out anything, of course, I'll text everybody just to let the smaller community know, and then I'll let them figure out if they want to distribute it or not.
Yeah.
But I hope it was peaceful. It sounds like it potentially was. We just don't know anything yet. At least I don't know anything yet.
Right.
But no, if next time you're drinking anything, water, tea, coffee, raise a toast to the little hobbit. Think about him for a couple seconds, and then you can just go on about your day. And that's what I love about Dan, is he has a little memoriam page to honor all the ones that contributed to anything. astronomy related. So I'm trying to reach out to local magazine companies that are in the astronomy world to just see if they can't write a blurb about him, collect the magazines, and then send them to Christina. That way she can always have it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, gentlemen, I know y'all got more quandering questions about space equipment because
as a matter of fact, not for nothing. I can't, with your testimonial to Simon, I can't imagine a better way to kind of close this out, to be honest with you. We could sit there and we could talk about astronomy crap for till 5 minutes before puck drop, and I'll miss the game. And,
as long as it's not about Star Trek, we're okay.
Oh God, yeah.
So just so you know, we just broke $800 in donations.
Nice.
For Chrissy and the family.
Nice.
And if you guys,
oh, Christina's actually on.
Yeah, I told her about it.
Yeah, she actually just came on. Hey, Christina.
We've never met.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dan. I'm the guy who created AstroWorld TV. That's Eric on the left. He's been my right-hand man co-host, and he's been running the show basically for the past year. And the rest of the people, Wilfredo, Tom, John, Ross, Scott, and Tyler, obviously, but I mean, all of them are involved with the AstroWorld community, and I could imagine that a lot of other people will be popping on throughout the course of the next week, where we're going to continue to do this fundraising event to kind of help the family out. It's just what we do, and feel free to either let Tyler know your PayPal or whatever sort of information that we could do to get you any funds that are attributed to it. So again, really, really, really sorry for your loss, man. Simon has been an outstanding friend to me, not only to Tyler and the rest of the people. It just sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does. But again, I hope everybody thinks about him a little bit as the days go on. That's what he would like the most. Yep. He would want us to continue doing what he loved doing, is talking about astronomy. Yep. He's not he was never a gloomy person.
No, not at all.
He was never a gloomy person at all.
It could have been the worst thing in the world, and he'd be like, it's okay.
The world would be on fire. He'd look at the brighter side of things, like, at least it's warm. It's warm outside.
It can only get cooler, right?
Yeah. If you get the opportunity to get your telescope out, to look at the sun safely, to look at the moon, or take some images, take time while you're out there setting up your stuff. Think about Simon. What would Simon do other than crack a joke?
Suck it up, Buttercup, right?
Suck it up, absolutely. Suck it up, Buttercup.
That's what he would say. And don't forget to turn on power. That's
Power is important.
Power is
important. Power is important. And make sure telescope is horizontal. Telescopes are horizontal. Don't push that. Yeah, because when that button goes, it's hard to stop it.
Verify home.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Wow. Dan, I can't thank you enough. Eric, I can't thank you enough. Thomas, Ross, and everybody here. I can't thank y'all enough for putting on this little shindig for our little man. We have to keep it up. We got to keep doing it for everybody. Talk a little bit more about him. It'll make it easier as the days go on. Sometimes it'll make it harder as the days go on.
Yeah.
But it's the lighter side of things. As long as we continue to think about him, I'm saying, like with Mr. Peter, think about him as well. All the guys that we've lost in the past 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt to think about them.
Nope.
Doesn't hurt.
Absolutely.
They may be gone physically, but they're always here mentally and emotionally. You can always talk to them because, like, they're actually next to you. You never know, they might be. If you have a weird sixth sense type thing. My wife does. She I'm surprised she hasn't said she's seen Simon yet, to be honest. I'm waiting for it. We're all going to miss him.
Yeah.
We really will. Not as much as Christina though, but we will all miss that little Brit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Christina, I mean, thank you so much for hopping on with us and saying hi. My deepest condolences to you and your family, and my prayers are with you. And yeah, I mean, Simon was, very one of a kind, absolutely one of a kind. So yeah, it's something. But yeah, we just keep moving. We just because that's what he would want us to do. So we just keep moving forward, and just when we look up, we see him, we see Pete, we see Ben, we see so many others that have gone
Don't
before
forget
us.
the other people that are in the background. We lost a couple other ones. We lost Mr. Nagler this year.
Yes. Yep.
We lost, and a lot of people may not even know this person's name is Michael Barber, who is like head of.
He was head of QHY.
QHY. USA Repairs, lost him. I mean, there's a lot of other people that like the in memoriam at the Oscars. You have all the actors, and then you have all the people in the background that kind of do all the work to make the actors what they are. Those are the people that we kind of got to look at as well. And
absolutely,
we lost a good 5 or 6 people over the past 8 months, Tyler. I mean, it's great. And and you know what? And I said this the other day. I think it's just, it doesn't make it any better, but because of the amount of people that we touch, and the amount of people with the internet that we see, and the amount of people worldwide that we deal with, it's just this happens a lot because of the amount of people that we know, and it's horrible every single time. And again, I can only echo what Eric and Tyler has already said about,
I didn't see them, and I stepped on it awkwardly, and I
let me mute Eric.
No, Klutz, I can't have obstacles.
Eric, I just muted that. There you go. But again, Christina, again, thoughts and prayers are with you and your family at this time. It's really, really, really a horrible thing. But if there's anything, I know you don't know me, and I know you don't know a lot of us here, but if there's anything that we can do to help you, and do for you, I saw you just asked for pictures. Feel free to, if you see the pictures in the beginning, I did a little kind of get together for a little slideshow. If you want any of those pictures, feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to send them to you as well. I'm sure most of them you got from Tyler already, but because Tyler gave me a lot of those pictures, and but there was some of me and him when he came to New York. There's a couple there too. So if you want them, let me know. Hold on, Eric. I think you're muted.
Yep, I am. Sorry. Yeah. So no, I was just saying, I have a few as well, Christina, from our time in New York. So I'd be more than happy to send those and share those with you.
Dan, where are we sitting at currently?
Hold on, we just got another one. $985.
Nice.
So we're 15 bucks away from 1,000. Somebody donate $15. Yeah, we got let's see, activity, 985. So we got 1, 2, that's why it went up so high. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 people have donated so far. So
nice.
Wait till Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday and Friday, a lot of people that are going to be on that have not. We got 16 people watching now. We usually have about 50 on our shows, somewhere around there.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird show. No, I mean, not saying it's a weird show.
No, it's off. Let's call it off cycle, I guess.
There you go. That works.
So and again, AstroWorld Telescopes, Christina is also going to be making a donation as well, depending on how much we raise. We'll definitely add some money to that pot as well. So
I've got Explore Scientific going to do something as well, and I believe Steve from Starzona is also going to do some stuff.
Yeah, you were saying. You were saying, yeah. So again, I know it's in the grand scheme of things, it's a very small thing, but it's something that we can do. And if we're in the position of helping you and your family, then that's what we can do. And I'm just glad we're in a place to do it. So.
Hey, Dan, you said you had some photos. I'm going to send you the photos I have too. So you want to send?
Yeah,
I
I could add them to I could add them to the slideshow, and I can send it to Christina as well. So.
Yep, I'll send them to you right now.
Yep. So. All right. Well, I mean, does anybody have any other anecdotes or stories or anything to say? I mean, it's we've been on for about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes now, talking a lot about Simon and what he's done and how he is and all the wonderful telescope crashing stories and all the other stuff. Anytime I saw him, the guy was just great. That's the only thing I can really say.
Just a quick thank you, Dan, for pulling this all together. Makes it so much easier for us as a community to help out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Second that.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. As you know, it's like I said at the beginning of the show, it's the least we could do for somebody that has been literally a friend of mine for about 5 or 6 years now. And before AstroWorks, he was doing guest spots on AstroWorld TV as we did the Southern Sky Challenge competition, and we did some what was it? It was the Tarantula Nebula. We got some data from Telescope Live, and we got the Tarantula Nebula. And the only reason why we did that is because Simon said, "Hey, what about the people on the Southern Hemisphere? You know, you keep on all you do is talk about the garbage you have up north. You know, we have so much more better stuff in the South. Why don't we do that?" I said, "All right, you know, considering nobody's got any relative experience processing any of it because we're all doing, you know, M42 and the Eskimo and the crab, you know, so
Stuff.
What was that?
It's always the same stuff.
Yeah, it's always the same stuff. So he's like, "Why don't we do that?" So I came up with something from Telescope Live, and I've been paying for Telescope Live for that since that day, and still paying for it because I forgot about it. Got over like I don't know, something like 1,200 credits with Telescope Live. That I'm gonna we got to do something with that with AstroWorld and just maybe give some data sets away as a raffle prize or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess, you know what? I think it's only fitting. Maybe Tyler, if you want to say some final words, and then we'll just call it a day, and then we'll do some more on Wednesday.
Well, I feel like I've already gave away the banger of of what Simon would always say, other than just suck it up, buttercup. But you know, words of wisdom that I'll give you is, I hope everyone has clear skies, and I hope everybody keeps looking up, for Simon's sake.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well said.
And that's the way to end it. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tyler, and everybody. We'll see everybody on Wednesday night, and we'll take it off from there. All right. Thanks again, everybody, for coming on, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks
See
for
you next
doing
time,
it,
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.